Let me ask you a question. What if everything you thought you knew about love was actually attachment in disguise? What if the feelings you've been nurturing and the relationships you've invested in weren't love at all, but just a deeper form of emotional dependence? Let me tell you something, this is more common than you think. Many people walk through life thinking that the intensity they feel in relationships is love, but in reality it might be attachment. Attachment masquerades as love, but the consequences are far different. The question is, are you ready to challenge everything you thought you knew and uncover the truth about love? Understanding the difference between love and attachment is not just an academic exercise, it's a game changer for your relationships. If you can tell the difference between the two, you'll be able to navigate your connections with others in a way that's healthier, more authentic, and more fulfilling. Attachment keeps you bound, often stifling personal growth and creating unhealthy dynamics. Love, on the other hand, sets you free. Love brings out the best in both partners. Understanding this distinction can transform how you approach not only romantic relationships, but also your friendships, family dynamics, and even your relationship with yourself. So why does this matter? Because your happiness depends on it. The foundation of any meaningful relationship is not built on dependency or fear, but on mutual respect, support, and a shared commitment to growth. When you understand that love is freeing and attachment is suffocating, you can begin to shift your mindset and create relationships where both individuals can thrive. You'll stop seeking validation and start sharing your life with someone as an equal partner. By truly understanding love and attachment, you'll foster connections that are not only long-lasting but also deeply satisfying. In this speech, we're going to break down the difference between love and attachment. We'll explore how attachment shows up in your life, its damaging effects, and why it holds you back from the fulfilling relationships you deserve. Then we'll look at what true love really is and how you can begin to cultivate it. By the end of this talk, you'll have the tools to recognize attachment and love in your own life, and most importantly, how to choose love every time. Attachment is often misunderstood. Many believe it's the same thing as love, but the reality is much different. Attachment creates emotional dependence. It's like holding on to a lifeline in a storm. You need it to survive. But here's the catch. Love isn't a lifeline. True love is about walking side by side with someone through the storm, knowing that both of you can stand strong together without either person relying on the other for survival. Attachment keeps you chained to another person, waiting for them to fill your emotional void. Love, on the other hand, allows both partners to grow independently while still choosing to share their lives. Think about it. When you're attached to someone, you constantly rely on them for validation and security. The relationship feels necessary for your survival, but not in the way love does. Love allows space, it allows growth, it frees you to be yourself, and supports the other person in being their true self. The root of attachment is fear. Fear of being alone, fear of not being good enough, fear of rejection. Attachments form when we are emotionally insecure, and that insecurity turns into a need for external validation. This is a far cry from love, which grows from mutual trust and respect, not fear. When you are attached, you are not truly free to be yourself. You're constantly managing the relationship to avoid the fear of rejection, loneliness, or abandonment. That's why attachment feels suffocating. It demands constant validation and thrives on insecurity. You're not in the relationship because you genuinely love the other person, but because you fear what might happen if you don't keep them around. Attachment breeds unhealthy behaviors. You see, when you're attached, you become possessive, controlling, and emotionally dependent. It's like you're afraid of losing the other person at all costs. You might constantly check in on them, look through their phone, or become jealous over minor things. These are all signs that attachment is at play, not love. When you're truly in love, there's trust, there's freedom, there's no need to control or suffocate the other person. But attachment creates a fear-based environment where control is used as a tool to maintain emotional security. Attachment locks you into a cycle of anxiety, distrust, and emotional manipulation. And in the end, it keeps you trapped, unable to experience the true freedom that love offers. Let me be clear, attachment does not fulfill you. It fills a temporary emotional need, but that's all. It breeds anxiety. You're constantly worried, constantly uncertain, wondering if the person will leave you, or if you're doing enough to keep them interested. But love provides fulfillment. It gives you peace. You stop worrying about whether you're enough because you already know that you are. Attachment leaves you emotionally drained, whereas love fills you with energy and purpose. Love is not about control. It's not about dependence. Love is unconditional, selfless, and free. It's a bond that thrives on mutual respect and support. In love, there is no need for constant validation because you are secure in yourself, and so is your partner. You both stand strong together yet independently. Think of love as a tree. The roots go deep, and while they provide the foundation, they do not hold the tree in place. The tree grows and expands freely because it is supported by those deep roots. This is the nature of love. It gives you the foundation to grow, while still allowing you to flourish as your own person. In love, you don't shrink to fit the relationship. Instead, the relationship helps you become the best version of yourself. True love celebrates your individuality and supports your dreams. It doesn't make you feel smaller or weaker. Instead, it lifts you up. Attachment, on the other hand, tries to change you, manipulate you, or control you to fit into someone else's vision of who you should be. When you're in a relationship based on love, you are free to grow. You are free to pursue your goals, follow your dreams, and become everything you were meant to be. Your partner supports you in becoming the best version of yourself, just as you support them. That's the beauty of love. It allows both people to thrive. Love thrives on vulnerability. Let me tell you something, love isn't about hiding who you are or pretending to be something you're not. It's about showing your true self, flaws and all, and being accepted for who you are. That's the true strength of love, its ability to let us be fully ourselves, without fear of judgment or rejection. Attachment, however, is built on insecurity and fear. When you're attached to someone, you hide your true self because you're afraid of losing them. You wear masks, you change who you are to fit what you think they want. But in love, there's no mask, there's no pretending, there's only truth, connection, and freedom to be fully seen and loved for who you are. Let me tell you something that may be hard to hear. Attachment turns you into a prisoner. It locks you inside your own emotions, trapping you in a cycle where your happiness and self-worth are tied to someone else. You hand over your emotional keys, giving another person the power to control your happiness. Think about that for a moment. Is that really what you want? To live your life constantly waiting for someone else to fill that void inside you? Attachment is like a cage. At first it might seem comforting. After all, someone else is there to give you what you need, to make you feel loved, validated, and secure. But over time, the bars grow thicker. You begin to realize that your happiness is no longer yours. It's someone else's responsibility. That's the danger of attachment. It makes you emotionally dependent, and the more you depend, the less you live freely. True love, however, doesn't hold you captive. Love gives you the freedom to be yourself while growing together. It doesn't demand that you change to be loved. Love doesn't make you less, it makes you more. In a loving relationship, you are empowered to find your joy within, and you share it with someone else. No strings attached. No cages, no emotional prisons. Now, let's talk about fear. Attachment breeds fear. Fear of losing someone, fear of not being good enough, fear of rejection. This fear controls everything you do. You start holding on tighter, trying to control every aspect of the relationship, making sure that the person doesn't slip away. You become possessive, suspicious, and anxious. You feel like you have to do whatever it takes to keep the other person in your life because you can't bear the thought of losing them. Let me ask you this. What does it say about a relationship when the fear of loss is the driving force behind every action? True love, on the other hand, is built on trust. Trust in yourself, trust in your partner, and trust in the relationship itself. In love, the fear of losing someone doesn't consume you. You don't need to control the other person. You trust them, and you trust that if the relationship is meant of losing them. Let me ask you this. What does it say about a relationship when the fear of loss is the driving force behind every action? True love, on the other hand, is built on trust. Trust in yourself, trust in your partner, and trust in the relationship itself. In love, the fear of losing someone doesn't consume you. You don't need to control the other person. You trust them, and you trust that if the relationship is meant to be, it will grow and thrive on mutual respect and understanding. When you are attached, you live in constant fear, and this fear is what creates unhealthy patterns. You become controlling, you isolate yourself from other relationships, and you start sacrificing pieces of yourself just to maintain a sense of security. But love doesn't control, it encourages freedom, personal growth, and mutual respect. And with that freedom comes trust. The foundation of love is not fear, but the confidence that both of you are enough as you are, and that the relationship will evolve in a healthy, natural way. Attachment demands something from you, your identity. It often leads to self-sacrifice. When you're attached, you begin to lose sight of who you are, what you want, and what you need. You begin to give pieces of yourself away to satisfy the relationship, constantly compromising on your own values and desires. You think that by giving more, you're securing your place in the other person's life, but instead you're losing yourself. In attachment, you might find yourself saying things like, "I'll change who I am to make them happy," or "I'll give up what I love to avoid conflict." But what happens when you lose yourself? What happens when you sacrifice your needs to please someone else? You become someone you're not. You start resenting yourself, feeling trapped and unhappy. Eventually, the relationship becomes about survival, not thriving. But in love, you don't lose yourself. In love, you build together. True love celebrates both your individuality and your connection. You support each other's growth without sacrificing your personal identity. You nurture the relationship while also nurturing yourselves. Love is about balance. It's about being true to yourself while creating something beautiful with another person. When you truly love, you give without losing yourself. The first step toward breaking free from attachment is recognizing that you're in it. I need you to be brutally honest with yourself. Are your relationships based on love or attachment? Ask yourself, am I in this relationship because of love or because of fear? It's important to confront this reality because only when you recognize the difference can you begin to shift from attachment to love. When you're in attachment, you know it deep down. You feel anxious, insecure, and dependent on the other person for your happiness. Love doesn't make you feel needy. It doesn't create chaos in your heart. If you find yourself constantly questioning your worth, feeling fearful of being alone, or losing your identity to please someone else, then it's time to step back and evaluate. You deserve more than that. You deserve a relationship based on mutual love and respect, not emotional survival. To shift from attachment to love, you need emotional independence. And that starts with loving yourself first. You must be whole before you can truly share your life with someone else. Emotional independence means that your happiness, self-worth, and confidence don't rely on another person. It comes from within. Building emotional independence requires daily practice. Start by taking care of yourself, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Spend time with yourself, explore your passions, invest in your growth, and learn how to be comfortable in your own company. Practice self-awareness, journal, meditate, or talk to a therapist. These practices will help you find peace within yourself. Only when you are emotionally whole can you create a relationship that's healthy, balanced, and free from the shackles of attachment. The next step is releasing control. You cannot control another person's feelings, actions, or decisions, but you can control your own response. Attachment makes you believe that control is the answer, that if you just manage things perfectly, everything will be okay. But let me tell you something, control is a prison, and trust is the key to freedom. When you stop trying to control the relationship, you open the door to real intimacy. You let go of jealousy, possessiveness, and fear of loss. You trust your partner to make their own choices, and you trust yourself to handle whatever comes your way. When both of you let go of control and embrace trust, the relationship becomes a safe, open space for love to flourish. Trust isn't easy, but it's essential. It's the foundation that love is built on. Self-love is the cornerstone of any healthy relationship. You cannot give what you do not have. You cannot give what you do not have. If you don't love and respect yourself, you will struggle to love and respect others. Start by setting boundaries that honor your needs and desires. Speak kindly to yourself. Treat yourself with the same compassion and care that you would offer someone you love deeply. When you love yourself, you understand your worth. You know that you are enough, and you never have to compromise your integrity or self-respect for the sake of someone else. You have the strength to say no when necessary and to say yes when it aligns with your true self. Love starts with you. You can't pour from an empty cup. Fill yourself first, and love will overflow. Boundaries are crucial to maintaining emotional health. Without boundaries, attachment seeps in, and the relationship becomes one-sided. Boundaries aren't walls, they're lines that protect your emotional well-being. Setting boundaries is about knowing what you need and communicating that with respect. It's about protecting your space, your peace, and your values without feeling guilty. When you set boundaries, you prevent emotional manipulation, codependency, and unhealthy attachment. You allow yourself and your partner to breathe, to grow, and to flourish as individuals while still being in a relationship. Healthy boundaries create a safe, respectful environment where love can thrive. Finally, embrace unconditional love. Love that gives without expectation. Love that doesn't demand, manipulate, or control. Love that supports, uplifts, and empowers. Unconditional love is the freedom to be yourself, without fear of judgment or rejection. Love that gives freely doesn't ask for anything in return. It doesn't keep score. It doesn't manipulate or use guilt to get what it wants. True love is selfless, and it's not conditional on the other person's behavior. When you give love without conditions, you build a foundation of trust, respect, and authenticity. True love is the key to freedom. It doesn't bind you, it liberates you to be your authentic self. It provides a space for mutual growth where both partners can achieve their fullest potential. Love is about creating an environment where both individuals can thrive together and independently. Imagine a partnership where you both encourage each other's growth, support each other's dreams, and provide the strength to overcome obstacles. That's what love does. It doesn't keep you locked in a cage. It opens the door to endless possibilities. You're not holding on to each other out of fear. You're walking side by side, empowered by the strength you share. Unconditional love has the power to transform lives. It's the wind beneath your wings, lifting you higher than you ever thought possible. Love empowers you to reach beyond your limits, to overcome challenges, and to become the person you were always meant to be. When you are loved unconditionally, you feel seen, supported, and encouraged to grow. And when you love unconditionally, you give the same power to someone else. This exchange of strength and love propels both partners forward, helping them achieve their dreams and build a life that is bigger than both of them. Love, when rooted in trust, mutual respect, and emotional independence, stands the test of time. It is not dependent on external factors, but on the deep connection between two people who choose each other every day. Sustaining love requires ongoing effort. It's about continuous communication, understanding, and respect. When both partners commit to each other's well-being and growth, the relationship flourishes. The strongest relationships are the ones where both people support each other's dreams, growth, and overall happiness. They build something together that transcends attachment and becomes a lifelong partnership based on love. Now, I want to leave you with one final thought. Attachment limits you. It keeps you confined to a life of emotional survival, anxiety, and dependency. But love frees you. It opens doors, it builds bridges, and it empowers you to be the best version of yourself. I challenge you today. Are you ready to choose love? Not attachment, not fear, love. It's time to stop settling for relationships built on insecurity and emotional dependence. It's time to build relationships that are grounded in mutual respect, trust, and freedom. Choose love, choose freedom, and watch how your life transforms. When you choose love, you choose the life you deserve. A life of joy, fulfillment, and growth. The power is in your hands. Embrace it and step into the greatness that awaits you.